Game of chill in the feed, yeah, we boot up mean. Start that game full screen, living every scene. Gameplay on tap, we don't play at sleep. We level up loud, make the whole room leap. Chill out when the beat drop, watch the pulse go hot. Music to vibe to, hit that sweet spot. Bass in the chest, got the whole place swing. One click from the blast when we enter the ring. Name say chill, but we never stay calm. We bring the storm with the grin and the bomb. Tell them look up, when the screen go live, we rise on the edge and we come alive. Chill, chill, hear it roll, rattle the sky, rock the world. Chill, chill, watch it hit, say the name now, feel that shit, game on. Chill, chill, chill out loud, haunted reaction, shake the crowd. Chill, chill, turn and stare when the name chill lands everywhere. With a raised up brow, catch the weird flex fast. We call it out now. Internet oddballs, all talk, no spine. We side out of nonsense, one roast at a time. Then we cut to the dark where the cold wind bends. Paranormal doors and the unknown twins. Shadows in the hall and the floorboards talk. We press record close when the dead things walk. Names say chill, but we never stay calm. We bring the storm with the grin and the bomb. Tell them look up, when the screen go live, we rise on the edge and we come alive. Chill, chill, hear it roll, rattle the sky, rock the world. Chill, chill, watch it hit, say the name now, feel that shit, game relail. Chill, chill out loud, mountain reaction, shake the ground. Chill, chill, turn and stare when the name chill lands everywhere. To the haunted lane, from the joke that stings to the midnight rain. We pull the weird out, make it bow, and the name chill gets louder now. Chill, chill, hear it roll, rattle the sky, rock the world. Chill, chill, watch it here, say the name now, feel that shift, get real. Chill, chill out loud, bungee reaction, shake the crowd. Chill, chill, run this town when the name chill comes crashing down. Game of chill in the feed.
Oh, how's it going, everybody? How's it going? I'm sorry if I'm a little quiet. There are people sleeping, so I'm trying not to wake them up. So this is gonna have to be a quiet stream. Sort of. By sort of, I mean, I'm gonna have to be quiet. That doesn't mean everybody else has to be. But I can't sleep. My wife is sitting across from me because apparently she can't sleep either. So, I guess tonight we just fucking around on the internet. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. That's how we do things now, apparently. Oh, man. Oh, no, but, yeah, so I joined in the Raises stream today. We had a very fun time there. As always, she provided a very decent live stream. And I continued to laugh my ass off as I was working on miscellaneous shit around the property. Anyways, as you can see, I have I finally updated my thumbnail to something totally different. primarily because rewind. Wait, what? By the way, welcome, Otto. Re, re. I, I don't know what that means. Rewindle. No, but then I also decided to drop in Mad Cow Valley and see what was going on there. Um, it was just freshly fresh talking about some stuff that's going on here in the United States. Hi, how's it going, Ben? How are you? How are you doing this lovely night? Very gorgeous night. The night of no sleep. That's what I should have titled the stream, was the night of no sleep. Alright, so let's see what goes on YouTube after the mid of the night. What happens in the middle of the night on YouTube? Let's see. 2 Live? Yeah. There's one that's gonna show up on YouTube Shorts, and then there's the other that's just normal, you know, like all big screens and stuff. But yeah. Getting chat vibing, some Assassin's Creed. Graduated and now playing games. Congratulations. Not really much goes on YouTube in the middle of the night, huh? Oh man. Around what time does Australia normally wake up? By the way, sorry if you guys can hear my air conditioner in the background. Probably can. It's pretty loud. Okay, so let's see. But yeah, I wanted to go live today. But as always, my internet was a little fuckled up there for a while. Buffering. Whistle red floor. Yeah. My stuff tends to buffer a little bit. I have the equivalent of dial-up internet, just a little bit more upgraded. It's like a little above dial-up. It's crazy. War you do what? What? Oh, war you do that. Do I do war? On video games. That's about as close to war as I get.
What, baby?
I fight, no. Oh. No, I don't fight in war. I was thankful enough to avoid the combat. We are few. I want to be part of the many. Quoting one of my favorite comedians. Hmm. Truth hurts. Team X normal after. Wait, what? Let's check that out. It seems interesting. You know, it's there. See this right here? Boom. Check that out.
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG, and
I'm not gonna lie, I've been thinking about trying this out, but I get really sketchy on the like I get really not sketchy. Sketchy is not the right word. I'm very iffy on games like this. That's the right word. Iffy on games like this.
in which you write your own story instead of following a laid-out path. Explore a vast open world.
Like I said, I have to be quiet, so that's why my tone is like this. Because I have to be quiet.
Every
Did you see all the sirens and stuff?
I heard them, but I didn't know where we
Yeah. Well, there was a fire at your apartment, or at the trailer.
Is my grandma okay?
No.
Tuesday, April 19th, Mountain View, Missouri. In the small community of Howell County, an emergency call alerted authorities to a house fire on Falk Street. When first responders arrived, the blaze had already consumed much of the interior, and inside they found 62-year-old Phyllis Schweinel, who did not survive. The speed with which the fire...
Man, how can you do something so heinous and then act like nothing happened? Like, what the fuck?
fire had spread, and the lack of an immediate explanation for its origin led investigators to suspect early on that this was not a simple accident, and what at first seemed like a domestic tragedy would soon reveal a far more complex scenario. I'm Tyler, and this is your daily dose of crime. We can see that you're watching, but only 11% of...
Why am I not subscribed? Probably because I was thinking in my head at that point in time, well, I'm subscribed to a lot of people. I really need to go through my subscriptions because a lot of them I actually don't watch. I watch more or less like content like this, or if it has to do with video games or YouTube drama because I'm a nosy motherfucker, you know, that sort of thing.
of you are actually subscribed to the channel. So take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that we can bring these videos to more people and so that you never miss your daily dose of crime. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel.
You live at 330? Yeah? Do you know what's going on over there?
No, I've been out walking all morning.
Okay. Well, there was a fire at your apartment, or at the trailer, and she inside. I'm sorry to tell you that, buddy.
Wow.
just wow. Your grandma burned alive and you reply with just wow. First of all, let's talk about the fact that you're still just sitting down crisscross applesauce like I'm doing right now in my chair. I constantly sit in like a yoga position. It's comfortable for me, you know. But grandma burned alive and you reply with just wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no good way to say just gotta lay it on, rip it off like a band-aid as far as talent goes.
Right.
See, what he's doing right now, the officer, is he's blatantly telling him that his grandma died to see what his reaction is going to be, because certain situations like this, there's always telltale signs. You got to look at the anchor points, their facial expression, the way they move their arms, the way they move their legs, just pretty much their body language says everything.
So, you said you've been out walking all morning?
Yeah.
Where were you at?
I took a walk down the road towards the church over in WW.
Okay.
And then I walked back this way.
Okay.
I was about to head back home, actually.
Oh, okay. You did all the turns and stuff?
I heard them, but I didn't know the word.
Yeah. Do you have, where's your shoes?
I was barefoot.
You walk barefoot?
Sometimes.
Okay. So I was told by someone over there that maybe you and your grandma had maybe some kind of disagreement last night.
That's why I was walking.
Okay.
We argued again this morning. I just needed a break, I guess.
Okay.
Me and her have been having a lot of fights.
Okay. Would you, work out?
Well, last year was really rough and stuff.
Okay.
Here lately's been really rough for both of us and stuff. Financially and everything.
I just want to talk about the fact that there's no tears. Note this kid was just told his grandma pretty much burned alive. There's no tears. There's no signs of remorse. He's fabricating an alibi. Yeah.
It's been a lot for both of us, and we've been fighting about that stuff a lot.
Yeah.
How I should do more and stuff. And I have been trying a lot.
Right. So I've gotten told like that you're 19 and then someone said you're 22, 21.
I'm 19.
You're 19? What's your birthday? Okay.
Sitting with officers is 19-year-old Jacob Hearn, who had lived with his grandmother for the past decade. His life was marked by instability, no job, no clear direction, and full dependence on her for support. That relationship did not function as a bond of care, but more like a mutual dependence that had been built tension over. And now, questioned by the police, Hearn insists he had only gone out for a walk and never connected the sound of sirens to his own home.
And please note that whenever a trailer is lit on fire, it doesn't take long to burn down. I don't know if the trailer fully burnt down or if it was just a fire in, like the middle of the living room or something. I have no idea. But trailers typically take less than a minute to go up in flames because of all the insulation that's in the walls and in the ceiling and everything like that. It's pretty much packed with insulation. And insulation is extremely flammable. you set that thing on fire, it's like cotton candy hitting water.
What unsettles the investigators is not only the calmness of his tone, but the way with which he seems to anticipate each and every question, off as though he were trying to control the narrative from the start. For officers, this raised the first pressing question. Were they listening to a grandson blindsided by tragedy, or the only witness who truly knew what happened inside of the home?
Because apparently, I don't know where people's getting their information, but you were somewhere between 19 and 150, I guess. So what time did you start your walk?
I believe it was around 10:30ish.
And see, that question right there is actually crucial because he can determine. Let's see, 10:30ish. That would mean approximately around 10:30 he started his walk. They can take that and run it into pretty not okay. So they can take that and estimate it from time of death, because the time of death, and they're gonna figure all that out from there.
Okay.
Not sure.
How long have you been here?
I just got back into the park actually. I sat down over there for a few minutes, but my feet were hurting, so I came over for grass.
I got you. Okay. Someone also said you were a felon. You're a felon? Okay. What's the story with that?
Well, in 2016 and stuff, me and my mother got attacked by two individuals. One was
Let's see, 2016. It's 2022. His Axon body camera is saying it's 2022. So he would have still been a minor. Felonies don't typically go off your record or get expunged or anything like that. Depending on what they are. They can. You can take like courses and classes and that sort of thing. You get it expunged. But yeah.
they were both they were addicts, and
Depending on
also
what it
snitches
is.
for the local police department in Elbert Farms, Missouri.
Okay.
My mom was worried because she thought they were trying to kidnap me and stuff, and so she came to get me. And one of them, the lady and stuff, her name was something. She attacked her and was trying to kill my mother,
Oh wow.
and I stepped in to save my mom. I was 14, and I ended up, the lady ended up dying.
Oh wow.
It was, I was just trying to save my mother's life.
So yeah, he's still a felon.
I got you.
It was a hard thing.
Oh, I can imagine. Gotta ask.
Right.
You said you were 14?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I'm sorry that even happened.
It's the story of my life.
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of damage to the house.
He kind of looks like a tiny Dan.
I mean, it's still intact, but there's pretty significant smoke damage. Yeah. Why don't you hop in my car and we'll go down there real quick and kind of. Have you seen anything down there?
I have not.
Okay. Well, we'll.
Walked that way yet.
Okay. Well, we'll let you see what's going on there. And do you have shoes anywhere? No.
We're in the house.
Okay. Okay. Well, apparently you got stronger feet than I do, because I'd be crying like a little girl. You can just hop in the passenger seat. They're on the other side. I got a bunch of junk in there.
As the conversation continues, Hearn introduces elements that further unsettle the officers. He describes constant arguments with his grandmother, as if they were an ordinary part of life, then shifts to recounting violent episodes from his past. He claims to have defended his mother from 2 attackers, and even admits to killing one of them. The casual way with which he speaks about such an extreme event, without showing visible signs of distress, alarms the investigators. From a
So I am actually in intensely thirsty at the moment. So I'm gonna go get me a drink real quick. Oh man, all this talk about fires got me thirsty.
From a psychological standpoint, his account reflects how some individuals construct narratives that alternate between portraying themselves as victims of a hostile environment and justifying extreme actions. The contrast between the gravity of his words and the
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right as soon as he just went, wow, I started having questions in my head, like, what the hell?
memories or a carefully shaped story intended to influence how he was perceived.
Did someone from the fire department come talk to you first about getting a hold of Red Cross for you? Red Cross? When there's a house fire and you lose a bunch, they call Red Cross and they help you kind of get back on your feet with some essentials and stuff. Would you be willing for that? I mean, since you don't even have shoes.
All I really have right now, considering you said the whole house is damaged and stuff, is what I'm wearing. So
Yeah. Okay.
that'd be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. We can get a hold of those guys for you.
They're going to call Bethany. Bethany went to the bank real quick. She'll be back.
Okay. So Bethany's gonna do that.
Yeah.
I told her to go ahead and do it.
Man.
Okay. So they're gonna call them for you. Okay. So we're just gonna keep hanging out here for a little while.
Did they figure anything out?
Whoa. Kidnapper realized cops found his victim in a box. Drunk teacher's first and last day at elementary school.
They got all they said was, well, I didn't really understand it honestly. They're still looking. Fires, I don't know the first thing about looking into them, so I don't know. But whenever they get a chance, a couple of them were on the phone. I'm gonna see if I can bend their ear for a minute. But I was just giving you an update, okay? They did remove her, okay? Just to get her away from me.
How bad was it?
It's pretty significant.
Dude, I cannot believe how calm you are right now. This is a whole nother, you need help.
She wanted to be. If she had before me. She said she wanted to be put to ashes, put around where her grandpa, her mother and father were buried.
Oh, okay.
That was all she told me.
I see.
So much.
Yeah, I know.
Dude. Oh man. What's even crazier is I've booked in people like this, you know, that just had such a calm demeanor after doing something so heinous. And to this day, I'm still not. I still don't understand how they can be so calm after doing something like this.
It's a lot. How many waters waters.
Yeah.
You want a water? You thirsty?
Very thirsty.
I think they got some waters on this truckie. They may not be cold, but it's wet.
See, he's laughing with them. He's making some sly remarks. Even after finding out his grandma just burned alive, he's talking negatively about it. And those are all red flags. Bigger than shit. He thinks everything's all cool and relaxed because of how chill he's been. No, that's raising alarms, dude.
So,
Other than sitting here gulping down my saliva.
yeah. So he's gonna get you fixed up there. It's just kind of a hurry up and wait thing.
VoiceMod gives you over 150 lag-free
Imagine not having YouTube Premium.
real-time voice changers and unlimited sound.
Unfortunately, but
That's fine. Hopefully the numbness will go away.
it's like just like emotional or physical. Yeah, I understand. That's a lot. I know.
I mean, especially when it's one of those situations where you had just got done fighting and said the most hurtful things to each other, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be thinking about any of this. I would.
It wasn't I love you, I'll see you, I hope you have a good day and stuff. It was,
Yeah.
I hope I don't come back, you know, or something like that.
Right. I completely understand, man. I do. And I really, truly am sorry for the whole situation. I really am. But just, if you just be patient with me, we'll get you sorted out here, okay? It may be a little bit. I don't know where the Red Cross comes from normally, but we'll
Probably Springfield.
I don't know. I've seen them show up quick, but I don't know when they call them, so we'll give you all we can, okay? All right. Best as can be, anyway. Okay. Okay. Well, I shouldn't have to take off like
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my Wi-Fi kind of crapped out there for a second. Like it always does. Here we go.
I'm gonna find out what's going on here, but like I said, just holler and I'll unlock it, and you feel free to sit in there. Got air conditioning
Oh, he's for sure already got an idea of what happened.
and heat if you're hot or cold. So I don't like to get uncomfortable. So
Very tight space.
yeah, ain't much I can do about that one.
In the following minutes, Jacob's focus drifts toward minor details. He mentions having no shoes, needing clothing, and the possible assistance of the Red Cross, as if these practical concerns outweigh the loss of his grandmother. To investigate this choice of priority, it suggested an emotional avoidance strategy with which the trivial served as a shield against confronting the weight of what had just happened. When told his grandmother had already been removed from the home, he asked how she looked, only to immediately remark that she had wanted to be cremated. The abrupt shift from concern to detachment would reveal a disconnection that was difficult to ignore.
Whoa. What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
And adding to that, he recalled her telling him before he left she wished he would never come back. For officers, that comment introduced a new dilemma. Was he describing a toxic coexistence or trying to plant the idea that she had anticipated her own end?
Wow. This dude needs some serious help, man.
Just needs to get him to the best points. You gotta be all quality.
Yeah.
Here you go, man. Just wear this and wipe your shirt, okay, over the top.
They actually gathered his clothes for evidence. See, if he they go and light a fire, those fumes, that smell of, the smoke and the ash and everything, it's going to linger. And not to mention they're gathering additional evidence, such as DNA and stuff like that, of course.
Well, just to get you over to county, and then they'll get you a new, different suit that'll actually fit you probably. They said you can keep your glasses too. You're fine. Take a seat there until I figure out what we're leaving right away, okay? We're leaving right up. Right now. Yep, thank you. All right, Jacob, let's roll. We'll go right back out the way we came in, okay?
Man, I remember booking people in that were so huge that we didn't have the right size jumpsuit for them because everything was too small. So we would have to provide them with either the turtle suit or they could just wear the jumpsuit around their waist until we get a bigger one that'll actually fit them. Like, we would have to actually order these jumpsuits in that actually fit them.
Ready to get in the same car. That door didn't shut all the way if you're going back in there. Do what? I don't think that door shut all the way. Yep. Too tight?
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
As officers offer him water, clothing, and the chance to contact relatives, Jacob remains distant and mechanical. Rather than showing grief, he states that he won't be entirely alone since he has extended family in another town. That cold, detached posture in a moment when most people would show visible despair painted an ambiguous picture. Either a young man exerting rigid control of his emotions or someone who was unwilling to reveal a grief he did not feel. Eventually, he's handcuffed and placed under custody, but by then, investigators had already...
See, at this point, he's probably desensitized, robot emotions, you know. He's... At this point, these people are just too far gone, you know.
Already determined the fire was deliberately set. Hearn had ignited a coat and placed it behind the chair where his grandmother was resting after taking pills, and that finding would redefine everything he had said up to that point. The calmness, the focus on trivialities, and the absence of mourning appeared less like shock and more like the construction of a story to conceal responsibility.
Want to strengthen your math skills? It's an effective and fun way to learn, built for the way your mind actually works. Every lesson is visual and interactive, so the math makes
Vehicles a white tractor trailer, white cab, white trailer, failure to maintain lane, driving with flashes on. Authority of Texas County 911, trip G cleared 1917.
Is this their Sally Port? Why do you have so much shit in the Sally Port, bro? Gas sitting there, boxes, tables, chairs. It looks like just an ordinary garage, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go. Got him? So, okay. I'll walk right over by that door.
It is, bro. It's their Sally Port. See, where I come from, we have the Sally Port, which is just a very, very, very intentionally, specifically clear area where you can pull your unit in. You stop about halfway, that back Sally Port behind you, that door shuts. That way both doors are shut and secure. That way if the inmate tries to make a run for it or anything like that, they're not going to get anywhere because all the doors are locked and sealed. And not to mention, it's clear for a reason. There's no weapons or nothing like that. That way if they're combative, they can't grab a hold of anything or use anything against you, you can just simply restrain them, get them inside, do the booking process, or if they're still combative when you get inside, you could just throw them in a holding cell. After the after getting everything, out of their pockets and everything, that way they're not able to harm anybody or harm themselves. You throw them in a holding cell. They'll sit there until they're cooperative, and you can get them fingerprinted and booked into the system, not using the name Jane Doe or John Doe.
Take a seat in your own bench. What's up?
That's another thing I won't do, especially if they're handcuffed in the front, like he is. I would not let them behind me. I need constant visual on them at all times. I don't care if they seem nice. I don't care, okay? Don't get behind me. I will not walk in front of you. You are going to walk in front of me inside of the correctional facility. That way I can keep it constant on and your moves. And most importantly, the rest of the surroundings.
After his arrest,
That's just a pet peeve of mine. Every time I see an officer allow someone walk behind them or anything like that, if it's an inmate, if they're the suspect in this case, it's a pet peeve. You should not be walking in front of them. That's just me, though. That's just me. I'm sorry.
the case moved quickly through the Howell County judicial system. Hearn was charged with first-degree murder, first-degree arson, and armed criminal action. During hearings, he argued that he was carrying out his grandmother's request to end her life, raising a debate about intent and accountability. Prosecutors, however, found no evidence of such an agreement and maintained that the decision to set the fire was entirely his. In 2024, Hearn entered an Alford plea to second-degree murder, acknowledging the strength of the evidence against him while never admitting guilt. The plea brought the trial to an end and resulted in a 24-year prison sentence in the Missouri Department of Corrections, closing a case in which long-standing family tensions and dependence culminated in irreversible tragedy.
Damn. He fucked up his own life entirely, dude. Only 19 years old. It just seems like a waste of a life. You don't like your grandma, you don't kill her. You get a job, you rack up money, then you move out. Don't fucking kill her. Idiots. They do this to themselves. I bet he was one of those people that automatically got to the jail and asked for like a pillow or a blanket with no holes in it. You have no idea how many people genuinely ask for a pillow while they're in jail. Other correctional facilities are different. Like all correctional facilities are different. Okay, they all have their own rules. The one that I worked in, we didn't have pillows. You want a pillow, get some grays or some whites. Those who've been to jail know what I'm talking about. Get some grays, get some whites. Whites, not wipes. Sorry, dad brain. Get some whites, get some grays. Use the jumpsuit that you're given. Ball that up, use that as your pillow. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through here. Okay. Here we go. Worst bear attacks ever reported. Share this. And I'm gonna go for a little smoke break and then we'll watch this. And then I should probably go to bed. I don't know. Depending on if I can sleep. I'll here. Here we go.
Yeah, we chill till we don't. Chill. Call them out. Hit that live, red ring on, score the chat, something feels wrong. Fake pick, fake name, bad tone, tryna talk slick to a... Like the screen. Let's go. Channel on, log in, load up, same squad, new chat. Hey, turn it up, run it back, blue bat on the chest that glow. Chat's going crazy, screen glow on my face. It starts streaming, we're jumping to another place. Hey, avatar loaded, headset tight, new safe file, we're up all night. Chill in the lobby, grin like watch this boy, the death bomb can't miss. Get this force with the horn out, blind wreck, storm light, lapping, skirts, they hard, more rise. Chill goes live, Gamer Chill goes live. We ride, new realm, new run on a wide. Old ties, spam the chat, let the subs all fly. We don't log off, we just respawn high. From pixel dust to dragon sky. Squad so loud, you can mute this vibe. Hit that warp, see the stars collide. Gamer Chill goes live. We ride. Starship hangar, rush red floor, RPG menu, we want more. Loot in the lockers, code in the air. Haste sets bombs like don't stand there. Valerie spinning, dual blade flash, chill hits roll, big crit, huge splash. Gamer Chill goes live, we ride, new realm, new run on a wild. Ties, spam the chat, let the subs all fly. We don't log off, we just respawn high. From pixel dust to dragon sky. Squad so loud, you can mute this vibe. Hit that warp, see the stars collide. Gamer Chill goes live, we ride. One more quest, one more fight, one more boss at 3 a.m. tonight. Ace goes down, we all still yell, cause the bloopers make the stories tell. Make yourself every time, chill, you slip it, we're alive. Gamer Chill goes live, we ride, new realm, new run on a wild. Ties, spam the chat, let the subs all fly. We don't log off, we just one more fight, one more boss at 3 a.m. tonight. Ace goes down, we all still yell, 'cause the bloopers make the stories tell. Fix yourself, every time, kill your slipping, we're alive. Gamer Chill goes live. We ride, new realm, new run on a wild time. Spend the chat, let the subs all fly. We don't log off, we just respawn high. From pixel dust to dragon sky. Squad so loud, you can mute this vibe. Hit that warp, see the stars collide. Gamer Chill goes live. We ride. We ride. Gamer Chill goes live. We ride. Chat's going crazy. Screen glow on my face. It starts streaming. We're jumping to another place. Avatar loaded, headset tight. New safe file, we're up all night. Chill in the lobby, green light, watch this boy. The death bomb can't miss. Get this once with the horn out. Blind Rex, storm light, laughing, scurry, bit hard, more rise.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Alright. Let's get into people being eaten by bears. The topics here lately.
Bear attacks known to man. These true stories include a brutal grizzly bear attack where a woman was dragged from her tent and eaten while camping at Yellowstone National Park, a case that saw 6 people mauled by a hungry black bear in a single day, and much more. Like and subscribe if you're new. My name is Animal Al, and you're watching When Bears Attack.
Jesus, man, I hope that a bear never attacks me. I pray that I never have to be in that sort of situation. Because I gotta tell you, me versus a bear, the bear's gonna win.
There's no place on Earth quite like it. Yellowstone National Park. 2.2 million acres of vast wilderness, peppered with vibrant geothermal pools, show-stopping geysers, and miles of boardwalks where 5 million people per year take in the beauty of nature with their families. But beyond the boardwalks, beyond the carefully curated viewpoints, gift shops, and roadside wildlife viewing spots, there's another side of Yellowstone, a wilder, more untouched side, and historically, a much darker side. Meet Yellowstone's backcountry, over 3,000 square miles of towering peaks, raging rivers, dense forests, and frigid alpine.
Every time I hear of Yellowstone Park, all I can think about is Yogi Bear. Hey, boo-boo, let's go seal another picnic basket. Yeah.
Pine Lakes. Here, visitors with backcountry permits can be completely away from civilization, surrounded only by the grandeur of nature and the majesty of the animals that live within it. There are wide swaths of land that are 30 miles or more from the nearest road, leaving those who to the wilderness fend completely for themselves against the elements, the harsh landscape, and, at times, the grizzly bears who call it home. The chances of being attacked by a grizzly bear in the developed area of Yellowstone are 1 in 59.5 million overnight visits, but the chances in the backcountry are nearly 30 times higher, at 1 in 1.7 million overnight visits. 24-year-old Brigida Friedenhagen was tragically part of that 1 in 1.7 million. By all accounts, Brigida was a free spirit and hard worker who embraced the backcountry with no...
Man, dude. That would just be wild.
knowledge, respect, and the
See what I did there? Wild.
appropriate amount of caution, only to discover that it was July 28, 1984, when Brigida entered Yellowstone National Park for the very first time through this entrance with her brother Andreas and his wife. Brigida and her brother had grown up in Basel, Switzerland. This was the home that she waved goodbye to when they embarked on their once-in-a-lifetime journey together that she had waited her whole life for. Since she was a young child, Brigida had dreamt of leaving her home just north of the mountainous Alps to experience the vastness of the American West that she had seen on TV. And on that warm summer day in 1984, it was finally happening. The rangers who encountered Brigida described her as bubbly, adventurous, and eager to learn everything that there was to know about Yellowstone. She was memorable and bright, which only makes what happened to her just 2 days after her arrival that much more horrific. After 2 nights of camping at Grant Village alongside
I'm gonna take it she didn't make it.
Yellowstone Lake and Norris Campground, the group of few would make their way in so Brigida could get a backcountry pass to spend that brave night alone in the Wild West that she had always dreamt of. Andreas and his wife hadn't packed backcountry gear, so they decided to stay at another campsite. No one had any idea that this innocent plan to separate would eventually become one of the main contributing factors that would lead to Brigida's tragic demise. After speaking with Ranger Gary Youngblood, Brigida was assigned Site 5B1, just a few miles off the Pelican Valley Trailhead. A beautiful trail winding through the tall forests, lush meadows, and along a creek that just so happens to be the perfect habitat for grizzlies.
Grizzlies, man. Why is it always the grizzly? It's always grizzlies.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you...
Brigida was well aware of the dangers that grizzlies potentially posed, and the signs all around the trail
It's always a grizzly bear.
and campsites served as a constant reminder. Ranger Youngblood later told investigators that Brigida showed him books that she had purchased about the trails and the grizzlies, and even asked several questions to ensure that she was doing all that she needed to protect herself. In other words, Brigida did absolutely everything right in terms of taking precautions. Brigida, Andreas, and his wife would set off at 11 a.m. on July 30th to enjoy a 5.5-mile hike to Astringent Creek Bridge on the Astringent Creek Trail. It was there that Brigida hugged her brother and sister-in-law for the last time. They watched as she disappeared into the thick forest of spruce, never to be seen alive again. Brigida walked further and
Knew it. She did.
further into the wilderness alone. Bear bells chimed on her bag and birds chirped in the forest canopy above her. Though
I mean, the title of the video is The Worst Bear Attacks Ever Recorded. So I wonder if a grizzly man. No. Apparently not. Wait.
Though she was assigned Site 5B1, the day was likely passing more quickly than she expected. After several miles of hiking alone, she came to White Lake, an isolated, beautiful body of water deep into the backcountry. There is where she discovered Site 5W1. The sun beginning to set and no one at the campsite, she decided to settle there for the night instead of her assigned spot. The site was breathtaking, with a spruce understory and a lush meadow just to the south, overflowing with strawberries and elk thistle. Brigida made camp at that site, her first time sleeping alone in the American West. She set up her tent, started a fire for dinner and sat by it, enjoying the sunset on the warm summer night. Once again, she was completely isolated, alone, and miles away from anyone who could hear or help her. Following the bear safety guidelines of the time, she climbed a tree and hung her food high off the ground. Then, with night falling, she took a picture of her fire and tent, watched the embers die down.
I wish it would actually show the picture.
And to her tent. She then wrote in her journal before bed, reflecting on a trip of a lifetime, ending her entry with, quote, "I've taken all the necessary precautions." As she slept peacefully in her
Clearly not, bro. You didn't. Clearly not.
mummy bag, rain began to fall, and a thunderstorm swept over the area, blanketing the night in pitch black, lightning being the only source of natural light, illuminating the tall spruce trees in blinding flashes. It was one of those trees that Yellowstone scientists believe that a subadult male bear began to climb. Its 3 to 4 inch claws easily sliced into the bark of the tree, hauling its several hundred-pound body dozens of feet up with ease. It proceeded to tear down Brigida's food with a simple swipe as she unknowingly slept just a few feet away. The booming thunder likely drowned the noise out as she slept peacefully. The bear devoured everything in her food bag: granola, cooked ham, dried fruit, and biscuits. The high caloric content of the food further driving its excitement. Ashley, this bear was new to finding food, and since it was alone and without its mother's help, this discovery of filling, energizing human food was sort of like hitting the jackpot. Steve Mealy, a supervisor for Shoshone National Forest, believes that it was this food that enticed the bear to make its next move in search of more.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
After devouring the food and biting into Brigida's metal cookpot, the bear lumbered towards the tent. With a single tent, no loud noises, and a source of food nearby, the bear had no reason to be cautious and nothing to fear. Using a single claw, the bear tore through the rainfly and sliced the side of the tent near the door. All the evidence on the scene indicated that Brigida was asleep as the bear poked his head into the tent. He sniffed the air, then, in an instant, swiftly clamped his massive jaws around Brigida's head. With no effort whatsoever, the bear dragged her out of the tent by her head, pulling her out into the rain.
Damn. Ooh. That escalated more quickly than I thought. I thought he was gonna like smell her, wake her up, something like that, freak her out. But with her being experienced as she is, she would have probably not moved, stayed calm, hopefully, But nope. No second thought. Let's just clamp down on her head and drag her out of the tent.
Jean left still trapped sleeping bag as she awakened to this horrible reality. Several feet from her tent, the sleeping bag would then fall off her body as she was dragged into the woods in the pitch black. What happened next can only be assumed by what Ranger Mark Marshall discovered on horseback on August 1st, 1984. When Brigida hadn't met her brother and sister-in-law at the agreed-upon time, they immediately sensed that something was wrong. Unfortunately, it took rangers several hours to contact a backcountry ranger who could begin the search for Brigida. Ranger Marshall began looking the night of the 31st, but as night fell, he saw no signs of Brigida, and with bears roaming in the shadows nearby, he would then suspend the search until the following morning.
Oh, man.
Honey, that's what I've been calling you.
At 7:30 a.m., Ranger Marshall began the long trek to Brigida's expected campsite. Along the way, however, he stumbled upon Site 1, where an unusual scene awaited him. A sleeping bag was laid outside of the tent, almost as if it was being aired out before being packed away. The campsite was, according to the incident report, so tidy that it seemed almost uncanny. The ranger called and heard no camper in response, which is when his heart sank, because just beyond the sleeping bag were pieces of a human body, sprinkled across the ground. He discovered parts of a human lip, bits of scalp with hair still attached, and sinews of muscle tissue.
Ooh. Oh, man. That is horrible. That is absolutely horrible. To just come across, sprinkled along or something.
Over his radio, he called for backup. It was clear that they had a bear attack on their hands. And the most dangerous scene any professional can be forced to combat is an angry bear feeding on a human carcass. More rangers would then arrive, armed with shotguns and rifles. They were tasked with the horrific job of following a trail of body parts north. Along the way, mixed in with the tissue and scalp, they would find a bloody sweatshirt torn to pieces. Horrified but determined to find Brigida, they continued on until finally they came upon a...
You found her. Pieces of her. You just gotta find the rest of her.
2 by 3 foot patch of darkened, oily grass. It appeared to have been where Brigida bled out after she was dragged from her tent, and likely where the bear began to feed on her in earnest. 250 feet from her tent, a bit further from the likely suffered death, a group of 3 then found his body. Brigida was lying on her stomach. Her left arm was tucked beneath her body, and her right was raised over her head. The skin on both her arms had been peeled back to the shoulder by the bear, giving it access to tear away the tissue and fat underneath. It was, undeniably, a scene straight out of a nightmare. The majority of Brigida's body had been consumed. But perhaps the worst part is how close Brigida was to avoiding this fate. That fateful night, a group of 3 other campers were assigned to the campsite that she ended up staying at by herself. Unfortunately, due to weather and a late start, those campers never made it to the site. Had they, it's unlikely that the bear would have attacked, as groups of 2 or more are much more of a threat to bears who are by nature risk-averse creatures. If she had continued to her assigned campsite, she may have avoided the bear altogether. It's a case of the wrong time, because according to the bear...
Have you ever noticed that bears always seem so happy? It looks like they're always smiling. It's like you want to go give the forbidden wood puppy a hug, but then there's that part of your brain that tells you you don't want to fuck with a bear. You should listen to that part. That part screams at me. If I see a bear in the distance, you bet your ass I'm gonna slowly make my way back up to my house and shut my door. And just stay there for a while,
Bear experts and the review team at Yellowstone National Park, Brigida did absolutely everything right in terms of bear safety. Following her death, there was a review of the laws in Pelican Valley, and many of them were updated. Campsites were moved further away from known bear trails and or more. Overnight camping.
By the way, over here in the distance, when crazy Karens meet their match with no-nonsense cops, I love those videos, but as you can see, they're like 1 hour and 31 minutes long.
In the area, as far as we can tell, has since been closed, and the trails in the area are only open from sunrise to sunset. Though the attack had a big impact on the park as a whole, it was Brigida's family who was faced with the majority of the pain from this tragic loss. Just 4 days after her brother and sister-in-law arrived for an amazing trip with her, they were instead flying back to Switzerland with her ashes. Park rangers helped Andreas call his family and tell them the news, organized their flights home, and also provided them both with medication to calm their nerves in the aftermath of the horrible tragedy. With the family flying home to heal, the rangers of the park began their hunt for the bear who killed Brigida. Based on the length of the bite mark,
but see, she thought she was prepared, you know. But all of what's you'll notice a pattern with all this. All of these people keep camping near their food source. So you become their food source.
marks on her body and her cooking pot. It was determined that the bear was a 2 to 3 year old subadult male, as previously mentioned, and the search began with baited traps. But as days turned to weeks, there were no signs of a bear matching the one that likely killed Brigida that were found. And just a few weeks later, a preteen boy was dragged out of his campsite just a few miles away in a similar way, grabbed by his head and dragged head first out of the tent. Rapidly, he went away, and this because the bear was readjusting its bite and bit his sleeping bag instead of him, allowing him to wiggle out and run to safety. He managed to run.
Oh man, thank God. I was about to say, damn, this bear's on a fucking murder spree, bro. Nope, that one got away. Thankfully. It was not his time to go yet.
Run straight to his parents, who he startled awake, making him too risky for the bear to continue to pursue. To this day, the bear that killed Brigida has never been found, and a tragic death.
Damn.
Death remains a reminder that we can take all the necessary precautions, but at the end of the day, nature is a force to be reckoned with, and she will do as she pleases. Glacier National Park, home to stunning, ice-cold glacial lakes, breathtaking alpine trails, and meadows. But beneath all the Instagram-worthy snapshots, there is something dangerous lurking in the aspen groves and meadows. Glacier is estimated to be home to over 1,000 bears, 700 or so black bears, and approximately 300 of the king of the Americas, the grizzly bear, Ursus arctos.
It's always the fucking grizzlies, man. What the fuck is up with grizzly bears? Like, they're naturally curious on what everything tastes like, including you.
With 4-inch claws, a bite force strong enough to crush a bowling ball, and a top speed of a whopping 35 miles per hour, they've come by that title rightfully. As rare as grizzly attacks on humans are, the ferocity of those attacks has...
It's so fucking far? No. Okay, by the way, there's the grizzly man, right there. I knew they were going to show him somewhere in this video.
Has landed grizzlies with a kind of haunting infamy, one they won't be shaking anytime soon. And in the park's history, much of that infamy comes from stories of the fatal attacks in Glacier National Park. There's only been 10. Yet, these attacks live in the nightmares of many. One of these nightmares began on October 3rd, 1992.
And she's right there, and I thought for sure this bear is going to eat me.
Buck Wild has never been a stranger to the dangers that grizzly bears pose. In his 30s, he quit his prolific job as an electrical engineer contracted by the CIA and turned to the great outdoors, giving up everything to be a wildlife photographer. The animal that immediately captured his heart from behind the lens was the grizzly bear, specifically the grizzlies located in Katmai National Park, which are known for being more tolerant and docile than their counterparts in other areas of the world. The steady supply of salmon and rich food sources of the Katmai ecosystem means they don't have to be particularly predatory or territorial. But in Glacier, things are very different, especially as fall is turning to winter and bears are forced to put on the pounds before hibernation. Buck knew this, and he came to Glacier prepared. Eager to get some bear photos to sell, he set out to an area that he knew they frequented, the Loop Trail, a 4-mile trail with a 2,600-foot elevation gain up to the Granite Park Chalet, a backcountry lodging spot. It is one of the wildest, albeit most beautiful.
I do gotta say, the electrical fence around your tent, that's smart. That's smart. Don't know how well it will work on a fucking grizzly bear, but smart.
Trails in the entire park, and Buck didn't have to wait long to find exactly what he was looking for. As dawn rose over the chilly October morning, Buck enjoyed breakfast at the Granite Park backcountry campsite. Despite his name, he wasn't as wild as you'd expect when it came to bear safety. As he ate, he spotted a cub racing through the woods. Then, somewhere in the underbrush, the woof of the mother bear following behind. He waited, still and silent, for several minutes, allowing the bears to press on. Then he did exactly what he should have to keep himself as well as the bear safe. He took all of his scented items, including his food and toiletries, and strung them up in a tree. Then he grabbed a can of bear spray, his camera, as well as his backpack before journeying on. At that point, he was about 15 minutes behind the bears, but to him, that was the perfect place to be. Far enough back to lower his chances of...
So, I have a funny story for you guys. Me and my wife, we went camping, and my wife's warned my wife, hey, we're gonna want to put the food in the van. Put the food in the van when you're done, or in the car when you're done, or, you know, put the food in the vehicle, pretty much. And she was like, okay, yeah, I will. Well, night follows, and we hear a tussling, like bags being ripped open and stuff outside. My wife, she looks out the tent, she starts screaming, They got our food, quick, get them, they're running away with our food. So it was raccoons. They were raccoons, okay? And as I go outside the tent and look over, I see, holding the hot dog bun still in the package above its head and weeble wobbling its ass into the woods. I died laughing. I was rolling on the floor with how this raccoon was running. My wife was pissed. She wanted me to go after him, okay? Because she was dead set on having hot dogs for breakfast over a campfire. But the way this raccoon was running away with the hot dogs instantly made me start laughing.
of surprising the bears, but close enough to be able to follow their trail. His livelihood depended on getting pictures of these bears, and with the bear spray in hand as a deterrent and years of experience under his belt, Buck felt with what he was walking into. However, if he had known what was to come, he wouldn't have taken another step. Buck was scouring the trail as he walked, fully alert. He scanned the thick trees and brush on the edges of the alpine trail, looking for any signs of a bear. But what he found was the last thing that he expected. Lying in the dirt in the center of the trail was a blue baseball hat. Buck froze as an icy feeling crept through him. This wasn't right, and as he proceeded to search the surroundings, he would stumble upon even more evidence of what he feared the most. At the edge of the trail, a red backpack, a camera, and a tripod had been abandoned, and there were drag marks in the dirt. Knowing he'd likely stumbled on an attack site mere minutes after it happened, he backed down the trail about 30 yards. That's when things got worse. At the edge of the trail, there was a flash of red. A pool of blood over a foot wide, sitting on top of the soil a warm blob. It was at this point he knew just how unsafe he was. Firstly, he knew that the grizzly he had seen had cubs. There's a reason the phrase mama bear exists. Unlike black bears, grizzly bears are known to defend their cubs, even if it means facing their own death. The bear he had seen had at least one cub to protect. Then there was the time of the year. With hibernation on the horizon, and their survival depending on how much weight they can put on before then, bears are often willing to take bigger risks than ever to get food. And finally, the fact that the bear's food was likely whoever had been unfortunate enough to be attacked just mere feet away from him. If the bear...
Damn. So, I don't really think it was him that was attacked. No, it was somebody else. I thought it was going to be him, and he just survived.
Bear was feeding on the carcass. Buck didn't doubt for 1 second that she would be trying to defend her kill. Yet, he had to know if the victim was still alive. He was faced with an impossible problem. Walk closer to danger and potentially save someone's life, or walk into danger and have his own come to an end. Bravely, Buck tightened the grip around his bear spray and followed the trail back into the woods. As he did, slowly, his senses heightened, and he found himself following a path of horrific destruction. First, he came across ripped pieces of clothing, then coins, glistening with specks of blood, and finally, mixed in amongst the wreckage, pieces of torn human flesh. His stomach was tight. He felt like he could hear every single blade of grass rustling, every bug scampering through the underbrush.
Following like something like that, and you're just finding more and more and more evidence of something you fear the most, and you're following it to potentially save somebody's life. Your heart is racing. You're beginning to get this nausea in your gut, all the hair on your body standing up. Man, stressful situations.
He knew that at any moment, the low huff of a grizzly might be all he got as a warning. But that noise never came. Instead, the sight of a man lying on his side, dead. Most of his skin had been torn away from his leg, thigh, butt, and arm. His eyes were closed. Buck raced to his side to take a pulse, but with adrenaline racing, he couldn't be too sure whether he'd felt one or not. Regardless, he wanted to do all that he could to try and keep the man alive, just in case there was at least some life left in him that he was still managing to cling on to. He ran back to his backpack, digging through to see if he could find a jacket to cover the man with. At the least, it would keep him warm and offer his wounds at least a tiny bit of protection. But in the 2 minutes it took him to grab the jacket and return to the wounded, he was gone. It was a trail of blood and drag marks from the bear. The trail descended deeper and deeper into the dark woods. Now,
Oh man, they came back for the food. And you know what sucks? Is he was marked as food. He was marked as their food. That was their kill, their hunt. So, say he were to grab the wounded man and take him back to his campsite or whatever. Along the way, that bear is going to sniff out the drops of blood. It's already got a scent, and it's going to follow it. It knows he's wounded.
Buck knew with certainty that the bear wasn't just protecting her cubs, he was hunting. He cautiously made his way back to the trail, knowing that there wasn't much hope in attempting to save this poor person now. But if any are feeding, it could result in even more deaths. Buck couldn't let that happen. He left a note on the trail, along with a can of bear spray. That note read, "Help. Discovered signs of bear mauling about a quarter to a half mile down from Chalet Backcountry Campsite. Followed another quarter mile and found body. He was in bad shape, but alive. Went back to get coat to cover him, but body was gone. Met people here. I plan to stay here for 2 reasons. 1, to turn people back toward Logan's Pass, and 2, to take National Park personnel to the spot that I saw the victim last. seriously, buck wild. And those two things are exactly what Buck did. Logan Pass was the trail going toward the Granite Park Chalet, where people would stop, then continue along the trail. Anyone continuing on the trail ran the risk of a deadly encounter.
Oh yes,
Buck
absolutely.
hurried up to the Granite Park Chalet, warning everyone and turn around.
No, but right thing. He did the right thing here. 100%.
Around and head back down to Logan Pass to safety. There is no telling how many lives this action potentially saved, but the remoteness caused an issue. There were no rangers nearby, and no way to contact them but to send people up to Logan Pass away from the bear, hoping they'd be able to find a ranger soon. As the hours passed and morning slipped to afternoon, 2 park rangers finally arrived at the chalet in a helicopter. They had received word from someone who found Buck's note at the bottom of the loop trail. Buck guided these rangers to the last place he had seen the body of the bear attack victim. In the few hours that had passed, the man had been dragged another 400 feet away. His body was covered in dirt, a technique called caching, used by bears to hide the scent of their kill. Tragically, the man was dead and likely had been for hours. His name was John Petrani, and was the son of a Romanian immigrant, John Sr. His obituary described him as a longtime observer and student of nature, and looking at his history, that couldn't be more of the truth. Every year he would save up from his job as the coordinator of the city of Madison, Wisconsin's custodial department, and use that money to go on a 3-week trip to explore the outdoors. In 1992, that trip took him to Banff, Jasper, and finally, Glacier National Park. The day that he had been mauled was the very last day of his trip. And
Damn.
now Buck and the Rangers had to find a way to get him home so his
That is some shit luck, dude.
family could say a proper goodbye. Their plan sounded simple at first. Get a helicopter, put John's body in it, and fly him out of the park. But things immediately took a turn for the worse. As the crew made their way back to the chalet, they came face to face with the female bear and her cubs. The Rangers drew their rifles, prepared to put the bear down if necessary. She charged them once, twice, 3 times, 4 bluff charges of absolute power and control. And even years afterward, Buck remembers the strength of the bear and her year-old cubs, but everyone had to stay calm. They couldn't run, flinch, or cower because if they did, they too would most likely end up having the same fate as John.
And don't run or scream or panic and lose your mind for any reason, no matter what happens, because that will evoke a predatory attack.
One of the Rangers, Charlie Logan, remembers having his finger on the trigger of his gun. In his mind, one thought played over and over: if she steps toward me, I'm gonna fire. Miraculously, she didn't. Convinced the threat was neutralized and no longer worth her time, she retreated to her cubs and disappeared into the underbrush. The crew hurried back to the chalet with a plan in place. One ranger would go in a helicopter to monitor
More people with that.
from above and haze the bear if necessary, while 5 other rangers would approach on foot, prepare the body, and load it into the helicopter. However, once more, things didn't go as planned. For 2 days, thick fog and rain stopped any helicopter from...
These people know more about bears than I do. I just know the basics, you know. The first rule, don't fuck with a bear.
flying. When it finally arrived and the Rangers set the plan into motion, they were met with yet another problem. The chopper sent ahead spotted the bear and her 2 cubs. Wanting to haze them, the pilot swept down, flying low over their heads. Usually, just the sound of a helicopter is enough to scare a bear off. But this bear continued, undeterred, heading straight for the Rangers on their mission. In a scramble, armed if necessary, the 5 Rangers on the ground, John's body, managed to get him in the helicopter and take off, sailing high above Glacier National Park. Meanwhile, his family in Wisconsin was preparing for the long journey to Montana.
Alrighty. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here and try to go get some sleep. Much love, everybody. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. Click that like button down below. We'll probably continue this tomorrow.